We're reading from Kabbala for the student, Introduction to the Book of the 10 Sefirot, page 373, item 155. Well, the writings of Kabbala for the student, page 373, item 155, Introduction to the study of the 10 Sefirot.
The
purpose of man in this world during his lifetime, the life that we're accustomed to, his purpose throughout this life is to discover and reveal the Creator, because by that person moves to the upper world in his attainment. Just like now he attains this world that we feel like we live in. In truth, we attain it. We attain that degree called this world. And it seems to us that we live in it. And similarly, by correctly using the wisdom of Kabbala, we reach the attainment of a new reality, so we live in this new reality. Along with the sensation of still vegetative inanimate here, until as long as our still vegetative inanimate portion exists, and then it disappears and it doesn't harm anything, doesn't put a barrier before living and existing and attaining the upper world, the true eternal world. And the wisdom of Kabbala is designed for this. Our life are designed for this and nothing else, because we don't find in our corporeal life here any other reason, any other purpose that's clearly ahead of us. And the efforts we have to put in order to attain the upper world, meaning attain the upper force, the upper world means the revelation of the upper force with respect to us according to our degree of equivalence with it. And because our desires are in equivalence or lack of equivalence with the upper force, we therefore don't feel the force itself, but rather its projection, its influence on our desires. To the extent our 613 desires are equal to this force, we feel various positive shades, tones, hues of that force, and to the extent that we're not equivalent to it, we reveal less than positive shades of that force. And that's what makes up our perception of reality in the upper world. Advancing in the perception of reality is only to come to know his singularity, meaning we have to aim ourselves constantly that there is no other reason or cause but none else besides him, and before every action this force presents reality to me. There is no other reason to feel reality out of myself. but only because this force aims me, directs me to feel this reality, meaning there's seemingly myself and myself that perceives the reality that surrounds me, and this is that force that establishes everything in my work. My effort should be to try in every moment, every instance in my life to position myself against this concealment, against the disturbances that are all in all aimed at concealing his singularity in order to give me place for work, to bring back the singularity of the upper force on me in every instance of life. The state I have to reach is called adhesion, dvikut. The minimal adhesion in the upper force is called ibur. But then me, myself, with everything that I am, is cleaved to the upper, like a drop of semen in the womb. And then I constantly guard this level, that all the forces of separation that come from him will not disconnect me from him, and regardless of all the forces he activates that scare me, that separate me from him by various kinds of obstacles and disturbances, I only must hold myself in. There is none else besides him, good and benevolent, and all aimed at the goal of complete adhesion with him. And in addition to this adhesion, where I cancel myself and I cleave unto him, and by that I'm called an ubar, an embryo, this is the complete nullification. There are additional degrees above the complete nullification, where with my own strength I begin to participate with him beyond the nullification. I mean, I'm entering his area, his realm, this other part of reality where all the forces that are revealed in me, that were from the get-go against the rule of the upper force that would confuse me and everything, I begin to not only cancel them in order to cleave unto him, but also to use them in order to realize those forces towards that same form that I discover in the upper force that is working on me. And this way I construct the organs that are inside my soul. Meaning after Ibu, conception, there begins the structure of the soul. To what extent I'm able to arrange my desires in that, according to that form that the upper force is showing me that I must do. And of course this work is also running against my ego, and not just against my ego, but also to actually invert it to the opposite state, from reception to bestowal, from all the desires to receive to desires to bestow, intention to bestow, in all manners. There are many things there, entire worlds are revealed there, because when my desires begin to work in accordance with the Creator, new connections are formed between them, not like now, where in those small egoistic ties I reveal current reality, but rather I am able to discover the upper reality. And this progress towards the revelation of the upper reality, to be included in it, to participate in it with greater and greater strength, force happens when I receive the upper force that works on me. I allow it to work on me, to operate on me, to perform this work on me. And I do it with a special kind of effort. And Kabbalists write to us how that we must be connected, and in this connection, when we nullify ourselves, it's like when we construct a certain system of relationships between us. That is like the upper degree, or the womb towards which we cancel ourselves, like this upper degree. And when we cancel ourselves towards the upper degree, towards the group, the 10, the center of the group, then by that we need to find ourselves in the concentration of connection between us, in participation, equality, according to the rules of the workshops we learn. We have to be aimed gently, with great necessity, towards that point of connection where we will discover ourselves as nullified, and then out of our mutual nullification, this mutual guarantee, our point of connection begins to be the foundation of the soul. And our efforts invite the influence of the upper force on us, called the light that reforms, and only with the help of that force we develop. In order to invite this force to work on us, it's not enough that we sit and perform intentions for connection, because we also have to awaken the influence of this upper force onto us from the upper degree to our degree. 2 degrees in total. And this force of our and the upper level, this force is called the system of the soul, where we are connected, we're detached from our ego, connected between us, and this upper force, this light that reforms, is there not as the light that reforms, it's there as the inner light, Opnimi. It fills us and discovers and shows us in the connection between us the upper state, the spiritual state. And in order to awaken it on us, it's not enough that we just sit and together and wait or talk about certain things, about the rules of the workshop, the ties that bind us, or corporeal, spiritual life. Whether Kabbalists have prepared for us precisely their connections also for our sake, so that when we study their true sources, we awaken in us the surrounding lights. Because we learn there about the relationship between the light and the kli in the upper degrees, where we already exist. First, second, and third states already exist, and they exist. The first and second states exist to enliven the third state, which already exists in the first state, in connection, in perfection. So all those states exist, there's nothing new, nothing develops, except for the development of our perception. So we must awaken in us this upper state where we already exist in, and that's called V'achalta yashan noshan, and you've eaten the old. So as much as we learn about the role of the upper systems, like as Baal HaSulam and Ari, as Ari and Baal HaSulam wrote to us, and I caution you, only they wrote about it, meaning only Etz Chaim, and preferable with the interpretation of Panim Meirot u'Masbirot, and the more developed study of the 10 Sfirot, that was written as an expansion of Panim Meirot u'Masbirot. So if we study Tess, by that we awaken our spiritual sources. Because ultimately this book explains to us in what way the upper system, our corrected upper system exists. That system that we must attain, and it doesn't matter to us so much what's written in the book itself, because we cannot attain those things yet in our current kelim. But what's important to us is to think of the light that we attain through that source as our root towards, with respect to the branch, where we're in two states. The upper state called shoresh, root, the lower state is called branch, anaf. And we yearn for the root to influence on us so that it would bring us back up to it. And that's really the purpose of the study. Therefore, it's not the wise who learns, and everyone and anyone can learn and shouldn't complain that I don't understand the language or it's not translated into other languages. You hear me, Owen? Yeah? And also your neighbor, this Yankee, and others. It doesn't matter. Each one, we wish to receive the entire world, and the whole world will hear it, and they'll hear it in Hebrew. It's not so bad. Because if you translate the study of the 10 Sfirot, you give him a chance to, a place for error. I translated each and every word when I came to Rabash, and I wrote above each word. First I wrote how to pronounce it, and then the translation, and so on. Although I knew a lot. I studied the wisdom of Kabbala for 4 years previously from various sources. And what can I tell you? It has nothing to do with one's spiritual advancement. Nothing. On the contrary. We heard that the sages of past would pray to forget what they studied. How can it be that I studied so much, I learned, I gained so much, and I'll forget it? What, I'll go to campus again, to young group again? Yes, yes. You should have such a desire, just like beginners do. And we have to think about it. So it's not important how much a person understands, and even the smallest, the beginner that comes to listen and suddenly falls onto tests, one of the advanced parts, doesn't matter. We have to explain to him, and explain to him repeatedly, because a person of this world that constantly yearns for knowledge doesn't understand the meaning of attainment. The spiritual attainment comes according to the correction of the kelim, the correction of the desires, the intentions. Therefore, while reading the study of the 10 Sfirot, and we will learn it systematically, methodically, yeah? Then we will try to pay attention only on the connection between us with the intention of attaining. Where is the light that reforms me? That's it. This is the intention, nothing besides that. Connection, and through the connection, the light that comes to me when I read about our state in our spiritual source. And that's why Baal HaSulam, when he wrote this, and he wrote such a long introduction, based on the introduction of Malchu for the gate of introductions. It's the most comprehensive, robust introduction that includes all the articles about the need to study the wisdom of Kabbalah. See how he concludes this introduction. So item 155, in the introduction to Tess.
So reading the introduction to the 10 Sefirot, item 155, Kabbalah for the student, page 373. Therefore, we must ask, why then did the Kabbalists obligate each person to study the wisdom of Kabbalah? Indeed, there is a great thing in it, worthy of being publicized. There is a wonderful, invaluable remedy to those who engage in the wisdom of Kabbalah, although they do not understand what they are learning. Through the yearning and the great desire to understand what they are learning, they awaken upon themselves the lights that surround their souls. This means that every person from Israel is guaranteed to finally attain all the wonderful attainments that the Creator had contemplated in the thought of creation to delight every creature. And one who has not been awarded in this life will be granted in the next life, etc., until one is awarded completing his thought, which he had planned for him.
But if he received an awakening in this life, theoretically he can attain all the degrees, or at least come out to such a state where he can continue and advance in the spiritual world without the need to reincarnate.
And while one has not attained perfection, the lights that are destined to reach him are considered surrounding lights. That means that they stand ready for him, but are waiting for him to purify his vessels of reception, at which time these lights will clothe the able vessels. Hence, even when he does not have the vessels, kelim, when he engages in this wisdom, mentioning the names of the lights and the vessels related to his soul, they immediately shine upon him to a certain extent. However, they shine for him without clothing the interior of his soul, for lack of able vessels to receive them. Yet, the illumination one receives time after time during the engagement draws upon him grace from above, imparting him with abundance of sanctity and purity, which bring him much closer to achieving perfection.
עוד קנ"ו.
Item Kufnunvav 156. Yet, there is a strict condition during the engagement in this wisdom to not materialize the matters with imaginary and corporeal issues. This is because they breach, "Thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image, nor any manner of likeness." In that event, one is rather harmed instead of receiving benefit. Therefore, our sages caution to study the wisdom only after 40 years, or from a Rav and other such cautions. All of that is for the above reason.
Questions? All is clear, good. Meaning, the less we philosophize about the studies, the better, until we attain. And then people of attainment can talk amongst themselves out of their attainment. They know how to talk, exchange ideas about their attainment. But before that, the less a person imagines things, but only thinks of the light that reforms, the better. Meaning, the study has to be accepted, received in the intention to correct oneself. And if the intention is less than this attitude toward the study, where he begins to imagine himself those systems, and that's not included in the intention that comes to him, that's not good. Don't take an example from me that I constantly illustrate things, I talk about details, I love the formulas and so on. This is all after trying to clothe it in the intention, meaning first and foremost the attitude towards the study is the light that brings me everything. Just like we study just like in our world, a child enters this world knowing nothing. He enters, he comes here and he grabs everything, he wants to put it in his mouth because that's the safest sense, just like for a small animal, it gives him an inkling of what's in front of him. Only out of his physical recognition, grasp, and only afterwards, after trying this and that and tasting, he can receive knowledge, the relationships between those things that he tastes, and out of that, after several years, 2 or 3 years, we're able to start explaining him things out of the experience that he acquired and he has. Then we can explain to him, this is like this and this is like that, this is better, this is not, see how this is made, and so on. Then out of his experience, and he got it after coming to our world without a head, without a rosh. So is the case for us. Exactly the same. Without wisdom, we have to first of all discover. And from your actions we shall know you. This is very important. This has to be a subtle and yet firm attitude. It's a rock, it's an iron rod that I grab, hold on to, and that's how I relate to spirituality. That I demand the light that reforms in my corrected vessels. I will reveal, discover what I will discover, and like a child I will be a little confused, I wouldn't know what's happening. You'll feel, oh pnimi, oh makiv, this is like this, like that, boom, boom. And little by little you begin to get to know things. Even all the actions, they will pass on to you from the upper to you. Zivug daka, that the upper does, and the inner light that expands in you, and the surrounding light. And first it will be in the screen that he constructs for you, and little by little you will acquire the screen, and then you will begin to work, and it will give you this expansion and this penetrating the entire wide world. But this is the upper needs to teach you. That's how it should be. That's the correct attitude only. We expect the upper degree to build us. Yes, Moti.
I wanted to ask, what does Baal HaSulam mean that harm can come upon us if we materialize things? Baal HaSulam also did illustrations, so what's the problem with it?
Don't imagine anything. When we draw the relationship between the forces, and under these forces you can imagine whatever you want. This is one force, second force, third force, and what? You're going to measure what kind of partsuf I drew, long, short, wide, narrow? No. It's only so we would have a more immediate language. A drawing is also a language. This way we can say fewer words and we can be connected together to a certain concept.
On the imaginary level, yeah, but let's say if we hold on to the correct intention, shouldn't that protect us from being carried out into imaginary imaginations like moon or whatever? My question, if we have the correct intention, doesn't it cancel that danger, that risk?
Even when they speak, and look, of course you read the Kabbalistic books, the highest books of Kabbalists express things in a biblical way, lovesick, like in the Song of Songs. And that speaks of the highest degree of connection, of dvekut, adhesion of the creature and the creator. That's how they express things, because Baal HaSulam writes to us that those are the four languages that we have. There's no other way. Language doesn't matter. You could even say moo like a cow, but you yearn for correction. So your moo equals all these writings. Truly. It's also written in Hasidic books about such expressions, because it's an expression of the lack, chisaron. That's the only thing we need. Nothing more. So don't forget that whatever we study in the wisdom of Kabbala should all be clothed in the intention for correction in the light that reforms, reach the understanding and the feeling and the sensing and the attaining of the source, which is the first, and there's none else besides him that arranged everything and is arranging everything now. And even in this thought, and when I'm speaking and I want to position myself towards him, he's there, even there, right? It's clear. That has created me from before, from behind. So by that we'll be as close as possible to this point of knowledge besides him, until we begin to feel in that newborn sense. We'll begin to feel the embryo, because the embryo is the first point of adhesion, and then we develop it on top of these other added desires, thoughts, intentions. Yes, Danny.
How would you like our lessons to seem now? Shouldn't we just read and have an intentions without any breaks?
Sure. I told you how when I was in the presence of these four Kabbalists who studied with Baal HaSulam, they barely spoke between them, few words here and there. Couldn't even discern any of those words. Half a word in Yiddish, I could barely understand what they were saying. Yeah, there was no need to study. It was clear what the topic was, and each one would feel the others. That's it.
תהליך ודאי שאנחנו לא יכולים בינתיים להבין מה זה, אבל
process that we can't understand for the time being, but what do I mean by that? It's enough to read, and the important thing is maybe every 10-15 minutes for 1 minute to remind, to renew the intention that we're nonetheless in the study. That's called the study of the wisdom of Kabbalah, the study of attainment. Okay? Yes.
We learn in Kabbalah that it is forbidden to cancel anything created by the Creator. He created me this mind of mine, and I don't know what to do with it during the study.
No, that's perfect. That's great. This mind, they gave you the brain, the mind to serve your animal, and with its help you can reach the beginning of the spiritual mind that would come from as a result of the influence of the light that performs. I'm saying it again, like a baby that's born. He has nothing, he knows nothing, and later when he develops in the first few months, years, he only absorbs impressions. He doesn't know exactly what. He absorbs impressions. And only later does he begin to learn one thing out of another. And that's, we are the same. That's why for us what's important is the first spiritual impression.
So until that impression, we shouldn't use it?
And what?
Our mind, our intellect, our brain.
No, you cannot. You cannot use your mind in spirituality. You don't possess a spiritual mind, reason. Your mind should be how to aim myself with the friends, to be connected in equality and subjugation, according to the rules of the workshop, so we can constantly hold ourselves, maintain ourselves as one, to my ability, because that's, for the time being, what I can do. I work on my corporeal ego, corporeal desire, so I can aim it to that border of spirituality, and in that border I stop and I expect this force to come to me from the other side of the border, and it will begin to install in me a new system. And these are not the same connections we built between us. This is connections that to be revealed. There will be 613 forces in the web of connections between us, and we begin to discover that we truly belong to the One. It's a sensation that we need to get to know what it means to be above myself, included in everyone. That's already spirituality. Yes.
But I will understand it with the new mind that we will get, the spiritual mind, right?
You might not understand it. Well, first of all, in sensation, to the extent you begin to sense and feel like a 1-2-year-old child, then to the extent he absorbed all these various impressions, then out of that the mind begins to develop.
And this mind that had developed till now, there are people here who are very intellectual, all kind of programmers, God forbid, and so on. What, can we work with it? How can we use it in the most beneficial way?
With the mind?
Yeah.
The most beneficial is to cancel it. It's not the wise who learns. Yes, Terence.
How can a student know if he's studying tests correctly?
If he is connected in the right society, he is them as one, and he tries to be as similar to the upper light as possible, the single light, and then he hears what he reads in the study of the 10 Sfirot, and from there, only one thing, they tell me about the spiritual state from which I need to receive the force. I need to yearn to be in it. How? I don't know. I want it. That's it.
But a person doesn't feel it.
True, but I want to be in it. Meaning not to understand it with my brain, but to be in it with my emotions. To be in it. That's it. They tell me something about a certain country, some things. I don't want to be all the. I don't want to know or hear of their philosophies. I want to be there. Be there. Start to talk to a little child. Explain to him all sorts of wisdoms of this world. He doesn't want it. He wants to grab it by the hands. That's how we should be.
After 20 years, how do I know if I'm learning correctly?
According to the result that you receive, that you study and receive changes, and you begin to enter actions that are more and more aimed towards spirituality, to be in a society that's more finely tuned, to understand how the study comes to the right implementation, and you read about it in the books, how they write about it, and most importantly, to aim yourself according to what's written. I'm merely trying to only show you where it's written and not get into it so much, but just to show you where it's written and for you to aim yourselves properly. My work is to stand guard so you'd not fall left or right. Rather, understand exactly what Rabash and Baal HaSulam say and advance like that. But the pace of advancement is up to you. That's it.
Is it possible to feel the light that reforms?
No, we don't feel the light. Just like you don't feel electricity, you feel the result of the electricity, which you call electricity. But it's the force itself you cannot feel. You only feel its result, its action. According to its action, you say, oh, this is the force of gravity, this is the force of electricity, this is the electromagnetic force, and so on and so forth. You see them, you discover them according to their actions. Yes.
What does it mean to attain?
To attain means that you feel that you begin to change, you connect with others, and in the connection with them, you begin to discover an entire world that you previously thought did not exist. This world sort of opens up, and there are many forces in it. This huge, massive space where the new reality is found. What are you looking at me?
We feel what you're talking about, but it's not always like this every day.
True, because you're not in the force of Arvut. What can we do? You are not surrounding yourself with the force of Arvut that will constantly raise you, bring you up. Even when I'm asleep, there's a force of Arvut that works on me. You're not aware. You're not aware just how much you're not using the forces that are at our disposal. You come, you hear, you sit, you leave. You come tomorrow, the next morning with complaints. Why? Like you said, 20 years I've been studying. Okay, you study. And what's next? So little by little we've advanced throughout those years to a point where we can talk about it. You see, it wasn't revealed before. It's not up to me. And don't tell me why didn't you tell us this 10 years ago? I couldn't. You think I didn't want to? But it's not up to me. I'm included in the system that pins me down. You have no idea just how. I have to perform calculations with the entire world when with you and the state that's between us and all of reality, both the upper reality. Truly. And then one receives permission, like the way HaSulam writes in Time to Act. Yes? When the time comes, we can reveal. Yes. Yeah, another complainer.
Reforming light works.
So when and how does the reforming light works? And when?
I don't know. I feel the result. You understand? The result. Is there or is there not electricity? I will tell you according to the light bulb. If it's on, there is. If it's off, there isn't. Meaning the result, we can feel the result. I feel change. I think that each one of you felt a change. Suddenly I feel something towards the friends. Previously I didn't pay attention to them. Suddenly I feel a need to be with them. Egoistic need, completely, but nonetheless. Do not disregard it. And somewhat I belong to them. I am close to them. They're precious to me. They're important to me. I begin to understand that they're inside. I find my spirituality. It's still egoistic. My spirituality that I find in them, that's why they're important to me. But these changes are already, they show in us, they are found in us, inside our ego, but through the work of the light that reforms. That's already a huge change. You're standing before the reception of the Torah. Before the reception of the Torah. Truly another effort and another effort, and it will happen. And the main thing here is the arvut, to be as one man in one heart, to awaken everyone, to strengthen everyone, that this atmosphere, this environment will influence a person forcefully. So all in all, you're collecting the forces that can concentrate the upper light onto you. By these efforts, this is what you do. And then you receive from it the good influence over a short period of time. The pace depends on you. According to how much you yearn for it, Yashar Kel, Israel, hasten the times. I think that the entire method is clear to us. The fact that it's erased from us means that you have to renew it every time. That's why you have a renewed raising of man, more and more connection. Yes.
Okay, I'll give you an example. During the young group to the north, we have connection, and it's through all the effort to create.
Who was there with the young group? I understand in the north. I saw him on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, we create very I feel okay. It's a very good connections. I feel what we built is very cherished, and I feel okay. I cannot ruin this environment. This environment we co-created.
They were in the north with the young group, and they found there a very precious and important sensation, something they came out with.
And the question?
Afraid of to ruin this environment, so cherish this. So what's that? Is that reforming light? It's working on me. I want to bestow to this common environment we co-created.
I feel that environment is so precious to me that I'm afraid to ruin it, to spoil it. Is that the light that performs, that works, that makes me in bestowal?
That too is the action of the light, yes. That it begins to be very precious to you. You're afraid it would escape you, that nothing will harm it, nothing will come from the outside and destroy it. That you'll feel that care for the society. Because society cannot be less important than the goal, than the creator. Cannot be less important.
Exactly.
Because that's the kli. From love of the created beings to love of the creator. That the love of the creator is revealed exactly in the love for the created being. It's an exact copy. According to the love I have for these various forms, accordingly the love for the creator is revealed in all these inclinations and connections, and nothing else. The matter of love of the creator includes, completes the love of the created beings into one. That's why it's called the love of the creator. Now, I read this state of keter, seemingly, to the light that establishes the kli. Love for the created beings is the light and kli together, and that's where I reach. Again, there's no difference. You can read many sources that talk about how there's no difference. No difference. It's simply the inclusive. The love of the creator, yes.
Okay, many friends studied in Kabbala for many years, 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. What's the result? What's the accumulation we need to get, and where is the start?
Friends have been studying Kabbalah for 10, 20, 30 years. What is the accumulated result we should come to? What is the thought that we should come to? Where is it accumulated?
We need to understand our special condition. We correct ourselves according to the root of our souls. Our souls that belong to this transition from exile to redemption. That's a kind of type of soul. There's nothing we can do about it, and in general we don't understand, this is better or this is better. Rather, each one has a role to carry out, the role to play, right? You see it on me. I carry out my role. I try, at least. But I have a job, I have to do it, and I do it. So we have to do what we have to do. And if the Creator will give me another 20 years to be alive and another 20 years to be in this way, then I will. I have no problem in this, because the important for me is that in every moment I will be in revelation or in connection with His singularity, none else besides Him. That I want to discover that He is acting, He's activating, operating me, and not that because by that I want to calm down, be certain, be good, be full, be happy. But only one thing I demand of it, that I would not make a mistake in carrying out His will. And that's it. If you're aimed at that, of course, everything opens up before you, but along with that, you must conceal everything. I can't explain it. There are many things that doesn't matter. The state is an exalted one. It's sublime. It's something else. But the important thing is that each and every moment to be in adhesion through the group to the upper force that clothes in you completely, leaving only one thought for you, that you would want to cancel it and be in adhesion with Him even without that one thought. He leaves only that idea that there's nothing else besides Him, the idea, and you have to reach the sensation, to be included in it. There are no words here, because we don't know what it means to be in adhesion beyond the point of Ibu, of conception. It's an opposite world that I see. So in short, to tell you something, you have no choice. Continue. And try to develop more and more the emotion, sensation. You have a mind, but we don't need it. Meaning, we need it only in order to aim, to hone our emotion. Feeling. This is our kli, the desire. And the mind should only help us to aim that desire. Mind is like a computer that performs calculations, brings you summaries, conclusions, charts, tables, different actions that you did, how, but only in order to serve the emotion. Just like he writes in a well of lively water, Be'er Maim Chaim. There's an interpretation of the Torah. It's called Maim Chaim. He's writing that the Torah was given only in order to correct the heart. You have it for sure. It's a very strong, very well-known verse. It's also written in the Mikraot Gdolot in the Torah. Ibn Ezra. Yep.
Can we say
Nice.
all the studies we accumulate is change of a corporeal mind, change to a spiritual mind?
Can it be said that the whole study that we accumulate, changes our perception, changes our mind from a corporal mind to a spiritual mind?
For sure. Everything we're talking about. Look how I want you to know various sources, and for each of you to become teachers. I want you to include the entire Torah in you as much as possible. I'm really hopeful that we can open the Pentateuch, the actual Bible, with you, and we'll be able to read and understand what's written. It's the most misunderstood book. Zohar is interpretation of the 5 books of Torah. All the books are an interpretation of the Torah. So I hope that we will reach it, that we can open Gemara, Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud. We can also study that. It's all taking place between us. That's the only thing they would write about. What did these Kabbalists, the sages, reveal? They discovered the advanced forms of connections in their group. That's what they discovered. And that's what they wrote about. That's the entire wisdom of Kabbalah. There's nothing more than the 10 Sfirot.
No.
So by this we change, okay, well, our actions could be not faced by reason, we become faced within, action within reason? We don't, yeah, because we have new spiritual mind that's created thought, well, everything we can according to do that. So that new mind is already direct our action to bestow.
He's asking, when we rise to the spiritual degree, we operate above reason and then we work within the spiritual reason, which we
out of the soul, he wanted to say.
And then it can be said that it is within reason, but the spiritual reason.
No, it's not clear.
I'll
give an answer from myself, in my own words. From the moment of the first scrutiny, which is Ubar, conception, embryo, we start to work from within the soul. That's it. The point of adhesion between us into a single point, 10 is a single point, and nullification, subjugation between us and towards the other is when we become a drop of semen, the first spiritual point, and from that point onwards we only operate from within that point. We already have our own kind of things that influence us and our own responses to those influences, and we do it as one. This is already juicy work. Yeah. What do you have?
Ibn Ezra in the book Yesod Morah.
Yesod Morah? I didn't know. Also in Mikraot. Okay.
He says, now set your heart and know that all the written mitzvot in the Torah, or the mitzvot given by the patriarchs, even though they are done by the mouth and by the heart, but they're all corrected in the heart.
Okay? We're done? Good.
No,
another American. I'll let you ask.
No.
He said that we have to think about different things, that there's none else besides him, mutual guarantee, the light.
And another 1,000 things, yes?
Well, certainly I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I wanted to ask...
how not to forget about those things?
No, I wanted to ask, what does it mean to think about there's none else besides him?
It's very simple. This is the simplest. That I have to see the upper force that works in every thought and desire of mine. In everything I see, I hear, I smell, I taste, I sense, I touch. In everything, he aims me and he brings me this impression. This is in my senses. Now, in thought, everything that I think about him, about this and that, the other, the Creator aims me to think about it and to think in this way in particular. Meaning he places the various characters and instances before me, events, situations, and he wants me to correctly respond to it. What does it mean that he wants me to respond correctly? Meaning that to think that he is doing it to me, that's the correct response. And then what? After I say, oh, you look what you did to me, then I have to connect with what he did, which is the good and benevolent, none else besides him, and he's doing it so that I would cleave to that state and correct myself in such a way so that this state becomes a state of adhesion. Doesn't matter what. The police comes to me. It doesn't matter who. Someone, somewhere, something, doesn't matter. That's what the internal attitude has to be like.
I can think this way.
True, I also can't, but I have to try each time because he is doing such things for us, such exercises, so we would reveal him behind everything that's happening in the world, and by that you reach adhesion with him, and you advance more and more and more until you begin to discover him exactly how he's doing it, and then he begins to teach you how he's doing it. He performs these tricks with you. You're going to see how I'm going to prepare and do things to you in this way and that way, and let's see if you can detach from me, or you will hold in the connection that means that I did it for you. He begins to play with you.
When does it happen?
You're not ready for it. That's why it's not happening. It happens in the degrees.
But for now, it's so painful.
It will be even more painful. The confusions will only grow.
But he doesn't want to.
He wants to confuse you so that you're so confused about your mind, about the whole world, because if you can solve this confusion, you become like him, the advantage of light out of darkness.
So when he lets me think that everything I did, all the problems that I have, I did them.
Who, you?
My problems. He lets me think.
He's letting you think that you
that I did
world,
everything.
Yes.
What can I do with it? Understand that I cannot think differently. I thought this way before Kabbala, and
I have nothing more to do. Nothing more to help you with. Just listen to what I'm saying.
I want to change.
Change? Good. Listen to what I'm saying. Try to locate the Creator behind every happenstance that comes to you in life, in every second. That there is none else besides Him, first and foremost. That's it. Start doing that, and we'll talk in, let's say, 5 years. And in those 5 years, try to do it. By that, in every moment, you scrutinize the Reshimot.
I'm not asking about spirituality, but I'm asking, can you have the right attitude now, in this moment?
Yes. If you relate to everything that's happening, that is coming from the Creator, that is now besides Him. That's the first article. What do you want from me?
It's not spirituality already that you can think this way?
Sir, it's written, do it. I didn't write the Torah, I didn't create the world, I didn't create you. What can I do? Go to the artist who made me. Like that. We're done. I don't know where you are, I don't know what you're doing. You come here, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Well, accordingly, that's how things progress. I don't know. We have to be connected, sewn to the society. Otherwise, according to that, you can demand. You can't just come complain, why is this happening or not? We have to invest. What can we do? You think that it comes just like that? You have to shed a lot of blood,
לעבור כאלו מצבים ש...
go through such states that, yeah,
תיקון הנשמה.
this is the correction of the soul. You have to correct your animal, your ego. It's such a monster that
יש מחו"ל?
someone from abroad. Yes.
Arthur from Naria is asking, what kind of an emotion exactly should we develop?
אני כבר עכשיו נמצא כל הזמן בתהליך שאני
I'm
מגלה
already
להיות מלבדו,
in
ואין
the
לי
process whereby I discover none else besides him, and there's nothing more to discover because the entire system and everything I feel in my life and the friends, it's all none else besides him. It's all him appearing before me, and I have to therefore connect everything to him. Concentrate Israel, Oraita, Kochebrichu, one, and that's it.
יש שם מישהו, כן. נו.
There's someone there, yes.
So if everything comes from there's none else besides him,
תחזיק מיקרופון.
Hold the mic.
so my thoughts, the thoughts of my friends, where am I? What is my role here?
נקודה
You?
שכמה שברגע
You're a
המציאות,
point that as much as it feels reality, it glues it, it attributes it to the Creator, to the one cause. This is you, that's your job. There is no more you.
But if he doesn't want me to come here,
Why would he not want you to make it? Look how he brought you here. Now he's bringing, presenting all these problems for you, on top of which you have to glue all of reality to him.
but he inserts my thoughts in my mind.
Yes, corresponding to that as well.
So where am I here?
You're the point that's trying to glue all of reality to the Creator. That is you. Meaning the disconnection from the Creator, the point of detachment that attributes all of reality to Him. This is where your independence lies. Yes, Vlad.
You started with the example that a police came, right?
נגיד כל מיני הפרעות, זה לא חשוב מאיפה.
Let's say all sorts of disturbances.
I think that this is the Creator who came. I think that there's none else besides Him. And then the second action I should do is to adhere to Him.
Hug, embrace the cop. I don't know.
That's my question. What should I do? Or should I run away from Him? What am I supposed to do?
You must keep everything that's in this world with the intention that you, in corporeality, do things according to the laws.
לא זוכר. שבזה הוא מחזיר את ה...
Slipped me my mind that by that he, how does it go? A person that keeps the laws of this world finds in it.
זה לא אחור וכתב זרתני.
It's not thou hast created me from before and from behind. I don't remember. In short, he who upholds the world according to the laws of this world that the Creator has established in the system of heaven and earth. I want to use the words of the source. I'm a little confused. I also studied for a few hours. Because of the lesson Congress preparation, all the verses are, like a salad in my head.
Look, in
practice, you have to do everything according to what's accustomed in the human society. This is corporeally, and spiritually, you have to, in the spiritual plane, you have to glue everything to there is none else besides him. That's it.
No,
that by that he returns everything to sanctity. One who tries to do it. Do you remember?
It's in letter 17 of Baal HaSulam. He says, a person who behaves according to the nature which he imprinted in the corporal heaven and earth, and he keeps the ordains like all corporal beings, and at the same time he believes in the name Havaya, meaning in private providence, he unites one with another, and they became one in his hand, and by doing so he gives great contentment to his maker, and he brings great illumination into all the worlds.
Yeah, you understand? That's what you should do. We study it in practice. You are already in a state where you must pay attention to these things. Okay. There's a guy over there, yeah?
Сила взаимного поручительства находится в нашем распоряжении каждую секунду.
The power of the mutual guarantee is in our possession every moment.
Is that a question?
No, let me continue.
Что значит, что я участвую во взаимном поручительстве, когда мы учим ТЭС?
What does it mean that I participate in the mutual guarantee actively when we're studying the 10 Sefirot?
It doesn't matter what we study. I want all the friends to be connected together. I care about that first and foremost. That in the connection between us we will discover that there is none else besides Him. That from the source of none else besides Him, when we study TES, the people who discovered it, we want the light of reforms to influence us from there. That what Baal HaSulam discovered, we want it to be revealed in us, that it will be truly revealed in us, that we will feel this phenomena, that we will feel the connection between us in a way that we study it, Zeranpin, Malchut, Atzilut, Abba Ve'ima, Meit, and those are systems. And it's all taking place inside this special emotion. That's all in order to bestow. A billion times greater than, I don't know, than what we can feel with our corporeal senses. And that's what I aim for, that we would all feel it and discover it in the connection between us, all the friends together. Otherwise you can't even do it. I'm not even thinking of myself alone. It's impossible. That's the first condition for spirituality. The connection, right? And we continue and do it all the way till giving contentment to the Creator. That we want to discover that we give Him contentment. There are additional conditions. What is this doing and all that? But this is an entire, complete set of emotions that when you're in it, it's simple. Just like when I'm here in this world, I also have these 613 emotions and desires, but I don't pay attention to them. I don't know about them. I live in them, and that's it. And also in spirituality, I live in it, and that's it. Later, like a psychologist in this world, not exactly, but I begin to understand these feelings and the relationships between them and the root of the soul, the collective and the private. And then in each scrutiny, I discover the nature of love more and more, the shape of love. Yeah.
Способность думать о товарищах, она ведь тоже исходит от нет никого кроме него.
Also, the ability to think about the friends comes from there's none else besides him.
True, the Creator gives us this thought and He wants us to continue it. Yeah?
In what is my freedom of choice when I have the opportunity to be in mutual guarantee?
To strengthen my connection with the environment, to influence it as much as possible, so that later I'll receive the influence of them. That's called the covenant. It's got very kind of sharp questions. Good.
Another question about there's none else besides him. Let's say a person, it's already imprinted in person and he feels that everything comes from the Creator and he knows to make the connection. He feels that everything that's happening to him comes from him.
He feels it.
Yeah, he feels it or understands it. This is how he perceives reality. But still, when he sees that it comes from him, he cannot justify him. He even complains and blames him.
Okay, so?
Well, he's supposed to be grateful or what?
Meaning the disturbances the Creator gives him are more than he can justify. Too great to be justified by him. You don't feel that. If the disturbance is greater, meaning it brings you some great fear, then you cannot justify him and you just want it to go away. You want that disturbance to leave and Creator and everything, only that will have nothing. I just want to go back to my animalistic life. Or you stay in this disturbance that scares you, and you say, good, through that disturbance I can specifically discover none else besides him, and this disturbance is like my avyut, and in this avyut I can grab hold of him. Or this disturbance can, what?
The first alternative is the most correct one.
That's the most accurate, right? That not let it be. Not
yeah,
him and
and he
not their
complains
reward.
why he's doing this and that.
Yeah, that's why it's written. Not them and not their reward.
So what, is supposed to be grateful or what?
No, you're not a man. Yeah, there's no overcoming. The force of overcoming, force of hitgabrut, like from the word gever, man. Why the Creator giving you this? So that you would feel that without a society you cannot overcome, that you would immediately see where the strength should come from. Because if He gives it, it's according to your degree, where you have to accumulate all these forces in order to be in the correct attitude towards that disturbance. It cannot be that He's giving you something that you will not be able to then unify everything towards His name. It cannot be. So, if anything, you're missing the arvut.
He gives you a disturbance.
Arvut, Torah, meaning you're missing forces.
You got the disturbance from him, you understand that you have to turn to the society, look for forces from them. The picture is clear, but still, you cannot justify the situation.
Wait for the society to influence you, then you will justify it. Also, look, it's possible, maybe it's beyond that. Maybe you reach a state where, you shall conceal me under your wing. That you're now destined to be included in the Shekhinah. And then He's pushing you through these various forms. Yeah? That's an even a more respectable state.
The reflection I should do from the state I get from him to the society and back, that means to unify everything, to relate everything to him. I'm asking about the different stages. The disturbance comes from him. He can make a calculation, even intellectual one. He sees that it all comes from him. He cannot justify. He turns to the society looking for forces from them.
Yes.
And then he sees that this is the best possible state, and he has to relate it all to him.
What do I have besides the society and the studies? I gave you the example of my ulcer flare-up, and Rabbi said, come and sit and study. And I wasn't able to. There were such other cases, but I told you about this one case that I wasn't able to. I told him I am unable. I have to go home and lie down with this hot bottle. And that's it. Meaning the society and the studies. That's it. But in the society, you have many opportunities. Meaning, it's possible that maybe you're unable to connect to them, and now, but it's them who have to pay attention to you and bring you the help. There's this mutual action here. You cannot detach yourself from the society, to isolate. Isolate. Yeah, insulation, yeah. To remove yourself from the society.
From that state, at the end, we can come to a feeling that everything that you want is to do everything.
All the torments are only in order to reveal where correction is needed. It's not clear? That's how it goes until the end of correction. It's every time suffering, 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 torments, torments, problems, problems. But if you're ready for it, if you're prepared, if armed for it, you have no problem. You immediately make, left, right. That's how it is. No problem. But it has to be a correct, good society with all the preparations, and then you can continue forward.
But you said there's no problem. On the other hand, when you get such a situation, then he's complaining to the Creator, to the group, and everyone else.
Only for one instance that he reveals that it naturally comes to him, like Shimon from the market, and then immediately begins to work.
How?
If you enter the sensation of suffering, fear, darkness, more than an instance, this is already the hold of the klipot. This is already wrong. You didn't perform sufficient preparation, so that next time you'll be careful to be in the right preparation. You have to have the descent, the fall. No more than how it's written.
In letter 18, he says, if he feels that he has to go to countries over the seas, he shouldn't contemplate about such things at all, rather in great speed, as if frozen by a demon, and return to his permanent state, not to spread these sparks in times and places which are not properly unified.
That's how it is. Succeed.
No.
Yes.
Once you had described the situation, that a situation comes to a person, he doesn't want to feel bad because he blames the Creator, and he wants to feel good because by this he justifies the Creator. And you said we attain it even before the machsum, even before the barrier. Do you remember you told us about it?
Again?
A person has some attitude even before the barrier because that he doesn't want to feel bad because he blames the Creator, and he's happy when he feels good because by so doing he justifies the Creator.
You have to reach this state to the extent that you relate to the society. You cannot relate to the Creator truly, and that in a different way than how you relate to the society. So check your attitude to him according to that.
Can you translate it?
What do you mean translate? It's written in many places. Yes, Niv. Niv, where is it written? Shamati. Yeah, that the attitude towards the Creator cannot be greater or different than the attitude towards a friend and Rabash and everything. What? How can it be? How can you relate differently to the Creator? The Creator is an abstract force. What is Creator? Boe, bo'e, come and see. Why is it called this way? Because if you prepare all your discernments towards the society, then you're capable of sensing this phenomenon called Creator. You understand, there's no other way. Only according to the kelim that you prepared with the society. in those, you can trap him in those kelim. You have made me, you've created me. That's how it's written.
How from the society I can do it for the sake of the Creator?
You can say it or not, but it doesn't matter. It will ultimately come to you. You have to say it to the society and try to reveal what's behind it, which is the Creator. But if you aim yourself towards the society, so it's not be a council of fools, it will come. The Creator is revealed, yes.
In Remove from Evils, Shamati 67, he says, whoever thinks that he's cheating his friend, he is cheating the Creator, because except for one's body, there is only the Creator. Because the essence of creation, where a person is called created being, it's only his own value. The Creator wishes a person to feel himself in a separated existence, but besides that, the whole earth is full of His glory. Therefore, when he's lying to his friend, he's lying to the Creator. When he's grieving his friend, he's grieving the Creator. Therefore, if a person is accustomed to speak the truth, that will bring him benefit towards the Creator Himself.
No.
Okay, good.
To continue, there's none else besides Him. Also, this morning you said, how do we know that we are performing the unification correctly, that we're unifying everything together? When the evil becomes good, like in Thou Have Made Me from Behind and Before, where the second depiction becomes, the second concealment becomes once in concealment. So why isn't it considered in order to receive? If I ascribe everything to there's none else besides Him,
For the time being, it's all in order to receive.
in order to feel good,
Yeah, that's how we reach first to with the egoistic desires. We come to desires to bestow by the light that performs this inversion. But my intentions are egoistic. My desires are egoistic. Yeah, but the light that reforms is the one who's performing the correction.
so first the request is not for her sake,
Of course, it's egoistic.
but the depiction by Baal HaSulam says that if he sees everything in a good way, it's a feeling of in order to receive, that everything works well for him.
I don't know where you're confusing yourself. I don't want to enter your confusion. Read it a few times, maybe not today, maybe in a year, it will fall into place.
Can I ask about the introduction to the study of the 10 Sefirot,
Yes.
the approach to the study of the test? In addition to the will to attain and how to relate to the friend, he gives this order of study, and he says that one should remember everything and not to learn the second part before you know the first part, knowing all the definitions by heart. He gives you an instruction of how to study, an order of a study. So it seems that the best way to study test is to study in a workshop, discussing something and making sure that all the friends know and remember, and maintain the intention for everyone to understand and know. This is the way I understand the order of study.
You're not studying tests. Studying tests means that you're already in attainment of what's written there. And then Baal HaSulam, using tests, it constructs your spiritual vessels. In all these 16 parts, they take you from here to the end of correction. But where can we study it now? What will you get from reading first part of test? You read it. What will you understand? You can't tell if a word is correct or not. You understand nothing. What? It's like a donkey carrying silk, right? That's how it's written about us. Or a camel. Camel, right? A camel carrying silk. That's the connection that I have, like the camel with the silk that it carries. That's the kind of connection I have with what I'm reading.
Of course, it's like what you say.
And then, if you reach attainment, then you have to study meticulously and know every word according to its correct definition. That's something else. Then they demand a clear attainment. And how HaSulam, as a teacher, brings you to this clear, certain attainment so that you would receive it from him and perceive it correctly, and you construct your vessels gradually, correctly. So he's telling you, first study this, and then that, and then if you know this, you can go to the next part, and so on and so forth. That's it. That's already... Really, he wanted to create another edition from the study of the 10 Sfirot, just like he wrote in part 1, the first 4 parts of chapters of this. He writes above before each portion in small type, right? What's happening in each chapter. He wanted to do that for the entire test. Also, he wanted to do this inner view, expand it, but he didn't get to it.
Yeah, it can be very confusing.
Of course, and you'll confuse yourself even more with all the questions. But at least, you know, I'm willing to answer, so you will have it as an answer for the future. Yes.
If we study test for 2 hours, we won't be able to have dinner at 8 p.m.
We won't? What do you recommend?
To start with the study.
Yeah, I know you're a wise guy. You will go to eat, and you'll sit and study, and you will get all of us judged to a scale of merit, purify us. It's possible. Okay. So, let's hope that we will be clear to us how to come to the studies tomorrow. Let's read something, maybe Q&A or part 8 or הסתכלות פנימית. So, tas